Well, Io will get jumped on and Ori will make the chase. They will get the kill and Lanham actually finds Itagi as well. It does look like the stream audio is still not working. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I've got to restart the stream, guys. My apologies about this. It's the only way it's going to fix it. Give me one moment, guys. Well, they can't hear me anyway, right? I'll be right back. Well, Io will get jumped on and Ori will make the chase. They will get the kill and Lanham actually finds Itagi as well. It does look like the stream audio is still not working. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I've got to restart the stream, guys. My apologies about this. It's the only way it's going to fix it. Give me one moment, guys. Well, they can't hear me anyway, right? I'll be right back. Well, Io will get jumped on and Ori will make the chase. They will get the kill and Lanham actually finds Itagi as well. It does look like the stream audio is still not working. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I've got to restart the stream, guys. My apologies about this. It's the only way it's going to fix it. Give me one moment, guys. Well, they can't hear me anyway, right? I'll be right back. Well, Io will get jumped on and Ori will make the chase. They will get the kill and Lanham actually finds Itagi as well. It does look like the stream audio is still not working. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I've got to restart the stream, guys. My apologies about this. It's the only way it's going to fix it. Give me one moment, guys. Well, they can't hear me anyway, right? I'll be right back. Find this, but look at the damage coming up from the PL. Paparazzi will find him. Io almost cops a stun. 11 solo, and he will end up dropping. Io will end up dropping as well. And it's a 2-1 for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's still looking rather good for VG. I mean, they've traded 2 for 1. Sure, you lose your Sand King. At the same time, you take out their mid Visage, who really wants to have, you know, a very good start early on to kind of pick up a lot of momentum in mid game, but he hasn't gotten that start he wanted. Still working on that Aghanims. Does have his Dominator and Medallion, but with his skill leveling, level 2 Soul Assumption, he's really not going to be dealing a lot of damage until maybe 2 levels in, 3 levels in. So it's not doing too much in this game just yet. This mid Visage not quite paying off just yet.
No, indeed, it is not. His farm's really suffered, like Paparazzi, top of the net worth right now, but like you mentioned, Meteor just having a really tough time. But what can you do? Sometimes you just gotta calm down, go to the back, start farming again, and hopefully make something work. Like, he still hits very hard, right? The Visage is still very useful regardless of whether he's underfarmed a bit or not. But at this point, with Paparazzi this high, maybe a bit too much, and they are going to find each other again, it looks like. Gintoki. Polaris, we're actually going with the Shadow Blade first. We'll run above, and Polaris will find Lanham. They will go on him first. There's the run. They blow him up immediately. Now they'll roll in, but Old 11 had the stun there. He gets Walrus Punch as well now. Beautiful Barrow Strike, and the Ice Blast comes in as well. Polaris trying to get out of there. He wasn't successful. Io copping so much damage. He will end up going. The Morphling trying to get out as well. In fact, no, it's a Sand King. Of course it's the Morphling. Gintoki, he gets cycloned up. He's really the only one left in this team fight. The Aegis is now gone as well. Can he survive this? Lincoln's is already broken. Look at the damage. It's way too much. He will end up dropping. Hitagi and Meteor trying to help him out, but, I mean, in reality, they just stood there being like, should we? Shouldn't we? And I think at the end, they just decided it's not worth it. They do end up backing off, but Rock.Y, again, they're not having the best time in these team fights.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's very hard as Morphling to really maximize your strength, your attribute shift, when they have so much silences that aren't blocked by Lincolns. I mean, they have the Death Prophet silence, they have Earth Spirit silence. So it's very hard for him to really be a nuisance in these fights unless they get pickoffs. But the pickoffs they've been finding have been on the Shadow Demon for the most part, so the threat from the DP and the Earth Spirit are pretty much always there in the team fights after picking out that SD.
Bot lane. The top lane, I should say. Lane is being pushed in, but Beastmaster. The Tusk will be there. Paparazzi. Pretty farmed at the moment. I mean, we already talked about how his net worth was at the top, but I mean, he's getting to the point where it's almost uncontrollable. Like, you haven't really got amazing wave clear on the side of Rock.Y. You looked at the Morphling, and yeah, he's farming okay. He is going for the Ethereal Blade as well. I mean, is this the play as an item for Jintoki? Like, he's got the Lincolns, which is pretty standard. The Ethereal Blade, is it going to be that effective against someone like Paparazzi on the PO? In fact, hold that thought. They are going to try and go for him, but some good game sense comes out. Now they're going to roll back onto Polaris, but the Roar is already there onto the SD. Polaris, can he get out? It doesn't look like he can, and he will end up dropping. Now the Burrow Strike 11 does find Hitagi, and will get that kill as well. It will continue. Who they found now? It is Io. The Purge is there, and Io should end up dropping quite easily. He does snowball to delay this a bit. And in fact, he might just walk out of this one. The Lance is there. The Rock does connect at the end as well. Fenrir will find that one. But again, Rock.Y 3 down. Towers are being pushed in. Exorcism is up, but they don't really need to use it. They can force the tier 3 with that ability. And the fact that Beastmaster and the Tusk don't have the buyback available, it's going to be pretty bad news for Rock.Y, because it looks like this tier 3 is 100% going down.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's the power of VG's lineup, really. It's just very strong fights and very good in pushes.
Well, they do find Meteor. They will go for this Rax as well, and there's really nothing to stop them. Now, can they just go for a second? He's still got over half the time.
Yeah, they definitely could, and there's nothing really from Rock.Y to stop this.
Well, second tier 3 now going down. Paparazzi will actually end up backing off. It doesn't look like they're interested in taking a team fight. It's one of those things with the Death Prophet, right? There's just no need to take a team fight. Just take easy pickoffs and then go for a Rax, and that's what they do. They understand the lead they have. They don't want to give it away, and they'll back off very calmly and very successfully.
Yeah, and this does push Rock.Y up against the wall a bit. Their Morphling he does have the E-Blade up, but they're facing issues against the PL. The PL, they just don't have any good way of clearing him out. Like, they don't have a good way of dealing with those illusions, and he's a really big issue in these team fights, just jumping in with that blink, dodging around with Doppelganger, and just getting clean kills. They really have no way of dealing with Paparazzi right now, and once he picks up his heart, it's going to be an even bigger issue.
Ooh, nice little scan there from VG. There was a smoke, but they do scan him out. They think they're in the Roshan pit, though, and they're actually not. 11. Got that Epi up. Is he going to jump straight into the Rosh? Nobody's there. It's not even up, in fact. And, well, they'll see. They'll see that nobody's there, and they'll back off. Rock.Y might be a nice little opportunity for them to make a jump, but they don't do so.
So looking at Rock.Y, the Morphling is working on a BKB next, which is very important. I feel that with all the AoE silences, the Lincolns is a good pickup for Morphling. You do want the stats, but I feel like if Morphling actually opted for an early BKB, I wouldn't be too mad. I wouldn't be too surprised either, because the AoE silences are what is killing him. You can't just stand there, shift out, shift his strength, be a nuisance.
Oh,
and
11.
Do all the damage he wants.
Look at the damage he just caught, but they will disrupt him immediately. Jintoki will have to back off. Apologies for the interruption, John. I mean, 11 just jumped in, ready to go. And he lost 3/4 of his HP just then from the Ethereal and Adaptive Strike. Again, it's a lot of damage that's being dealt by that Ethereal Blade, but I'm a bit worried that VG is way too far ahead now for them to even care about it.
Yeah, the damage is nice, but I feel like damage isn't the issue here. They really just have no way of dealing with the PL. They kind of have to take him out in the fights, and now that Paparazzi has his heart, how are you going to deal with the illusions now? It's just too strong. They don't really have illusion clear coming out. Maybe you could make an argument for Beastmaster, but the Axes aren't the greatest wave clear ever. Neither is Shards. So you're gonna have a hard time stopping this inevitable push. coming out from VG.
They're going for the Roshan right now. Fenrir knows it though. He will throw the boulder. Didn't connect on anyone. He roll in as well. Who are they going on? He's actually gone. Fenrir. He's been eliminated from this match immediately. Polaris. He'll be the next target. Nice burrow strike from Old 11. He will find Io. They are going after Hitagi right now. And Hitagi should end up dropping. In fact, there was a nice little shards coming in, but the illusions do the job. Meteor is around the area. 11 does find him. Where's the burrow strike? It is there, but the snowball is nice. They do get one in Old 11. Now Paparazzi trying to fight this. There's a disruption coming out, and they will just eliminate Jintoki. How fast did he go down? Now Meteor will be the next target. And again, it's just too much damage coming up from Paparazzi. He'll go as well. Meanwhile, Ori following Polaris. Now he'll start siphoning up Io, the snowball. Not really successful in doing anything there. And he should just end up dropping to Ori, who will continue the chase, and the Exorcism will do the job. Rock.Y, I mean, these team fights just over and over again. Just not working out for them. Now the Roshan will be given away. And it's just hard, right? Like, they didn't want the team fight. They just wanted an easy Roshan. But it wasn't the case. VG was never going to allow it. Ice Blast will come in. He will pop it. Who is there? He's Polaris, but he's not really got anything to deal with 5 heroes. John, at this stage, I mean, Rock.Y, they've now lost an Aegis and a Cheese. They're already 1 racks behind. What can they really do here to bring themselves back into this game?
I think what they really need to do is try to get Morphling some time to buy his BKB. Once that's up, he can man fight a bit better. It's still kind of iffy how he faces up against Paparazzi 1v1, but at least with a BKB, he can stand in those team fights a bit longer rather than immediately getting blown up after being silenced. I mean, you saw how fast he fell once he was silenced up by the DP after that disruption. He just absolutely melted, and he really needs that BKB just so he can stand the fights and shift his strength, be a bit more, do a little bit more in the fights, get a bit more control going. He won't have too much damage though. Like, he can't go full glass cannon with his build simply because he's gonna melt to PL if he goes that way.
Yeah, I mean, Paparazzi, you see him every team fight, just ripping people apart. There's nothing you can do about this PL right now. He's got that heart, like you mentioned. He is going for the Orchid as well, and that'll probably turn into a Bloodthorn later on. I think that BKB on Jintoki is probably going to be the best item he can pick up, and he has queued it. Although, EG, they'll start on the bottom shrine. 11 as well, being very pesky, very annoying. Not really allowing Jintoki to feel safe in this bot lane. And that shrine is gone. So both shrines now, for the side of Rock.Y, have disappeared. They will probably go for this bot tower. I mean, it was already damaged a bit. In fact, it's 3/4 of the HP down. Exorcism is available. No better time than now for the side of VG to take this out. Question is, can Rock.Y defend this? We're going to find out very soon because they will get started. Polaris, he's going to be the one to initiate here. Paparazzi on that front line, not really bothered by anything. They will go for a Walrus Punch onto, not even sure what that was, but Old 11 comes in. Burrow Strike onto 1. Fenrir, the Boulder Smash will not connect. But they don't really mind. The Rax is just being taken so safely with no contestation at all. They'll just walk out of here quite happily. No need to, again, no need to force anything. Like, they've got the Aegis, they've got the Cheese, but why risk it? Why even risk that? They'll just back off. They'll hold the Aegis for the top racks, and I mean, that was a lot easier than it should have been.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, what kind of response can you really expect from Rock.Y though? Like, their lineup definitely is very strong early on, but when it comes to 5v5, they just lack a lot of AoE control, which VG just has in spades. It's really hard for them to respond to these very aggressive plays, and they didn't really get the momentum they wanted from the Visage as well early on, so it's a rough time for them, definitely.
They will get started in that top lane now as well. 11 pushing up there, well, creep skipping at this point. Ori will move up to the top lane and get rid of that creep wave. Looks like there will be a smoke attempt from Rock.Y. They can find 1 or 2 pickoffs, it'd be massive. Paparazzi would be the biggest one as well. He's actually going on to Meteor solo right now. This could be dangerous, although no, they're going for the backline. Jintoki, he wants the Earth Spirit, and they might just find him. Fenrir gets disrupted. Nice shards comes out through everyone, and they will find Fenrir at the least. Now the Burrow Strike comes in. Jintoki playing around with Old 11 and will take him out, but Ori is somewhere around here. He's been cold-feeded, in fact, but he did end up getting a kill into Hitagi. Meanwhile, who they found is Paparazzi. The Aegis is gone. So the siphons come out from Ori. Waveform, there's the Aeon disc. Now Paparazzi will get started. Straight onto the Visage. Jintoki actually takes out the Death Prophet. Now Paparazzi will be the next target. And this is going to be absolutely massive if they can take him out. Meteor is still getting taken down, but now they're going to roll onto the PL. He will end up backing off successfully. But 3 down for the side of VG. That is very unexpected, but a beautiful smoke rotation coming out from Rock.Y, not allowing the side of VG to go up to that tier 3 top and just take that take the tower and racks like they were before.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice little counterplay from Rock.Y. Definitely seeing that BKB on the Morphling pay off massively there. Like managing to get that jump with that item. Turned that fight pretty much on its head, managing to give them the opportunity to clear out both Earth Spirit and Sand King fairly fast. So a lot of the control did disappear, and when Morphling can't be controlled, you're gonna have issues. So right now, I guess VG, knowing that that BKB is up, which should probably play a bit safer. At the same time, maybe they just opt to try to get a bit more farm up, maybe on PL. He isn't doing as much damage as you'd expect right now. I mean, you saw him trying to whack that Visage, and even after going through all the cloaks on that hero, it's still very hard for him to clean him out.
Oh, they found Fenrir bot lane, John. He should end up dropping here. The roll was committed. Now the kickback, actually, and the roll away. Fenrir, can he find his way out of this one? Polaris, again with the axes, will not connect. The blink just in time. Now the roll away as well. What a beautiful play from Fenrir. Now the waveform, though, adaptive. In fact, he won't even use it. Just the Ethereal Blade will be enough. I mean, you could argue he was wasting a bit of time, but he got a bit greedy. He did roll in onto the Beastmaster, I should say, but just ended up getting roared and getting killed off like that. So maybe a bit greedy from Fenrir to do that. Obviously, he did get pretty close to getting away, so it would have been pretty spectacular had he done so. That was not the case. And now they'll push the bot lane. Although the rest of Rock.Y will end up backing off. Jintoki forced to go to the top lane and defend again. It's pretty hard, like, to even think about making a push right now. Like, all your lanes are being pushed in constantly. One of those things like Old 11, you always see him creep skipping and things like that. So he doesn't really allow you to comfortably push towards the enemy base.
Yeah, definitely so. I feel like VG could probably use a couple of BKBs as well. Maybe on the DP. Could be the next item to go for it. She does have the Aeon disc, which is helpful. But if you at least make sure one of your cores isn't controlled up by the single target control that Rock.Y has, they can make a lot happen. As long as they don't get controlled up. Looks like Paparazzi is opting to go for more damage though, finishing up that Blood Torrent first.
Well, they will smoke up here on VG's end. Polaris gonna actually break the smoke, but they do find him, and now, well, there's too much damage being caught by Old 11. They will roll in, and nice shots come out. In fact, no, it blocks the Morphling in place. 11, he's gonna be in trouble right now, but they'll turn their attention onto Io, and they will take out Io and Polaris. And 2 down for the side of Rock.Y, and what was a very messy fight. In fact, it keeps going with the familiars. This top lane, it will be the target. There are no creeps in the top, but through the mid and the bot there are. The Exorcism will get started as well as Paparazzi. The Ice Blast will come in. Going on to Meteor with those illusions. Paparazzi pops an Adaptive Strike. Now Meteor comes in, and he will get taken out. In fact, no, the Snowball comes in and saves him just in time. Meteor trying to get out successfully. Paparazzi gets a bit greedy, but he will get out immediately. Fenrir, he wants to go after the Morphling. Can they find him? He's been silenced up so long, and he will end up dropping, and now the final Rax is being taken. Ori, with that Exorcism, will end up getting it. Paparazzi again getting started on Jintoki. What was a Walrus Punch? Didn't really do too much. Now the beautiful double stun from Old 11. They will find the Tusk as well. And the whole team just gets wiped here. Target will be the next target. And they call GG well played. And I mean, it's been a fairly... I was going to say even, but it feels like it was a bit one-sided towards to the way of VG.
Yeah, definitely so. The early game was pretty tight. I'd say it did look pretty alright for Rock.Y. But as it pulled into that mid-game, without the momentum that Rock.Y wanted early on, VG just managed to run away.
Yeah. Well, John, I should probably, you know, apologize about all the mistakes that were made early on. So, I believe some of you wanted an explanation. So, basically what happened is I ended up buying a new microphone setup, blah, 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 you know, trying to improve the stream quality. Turns out it wasn't set up the best way in the world, and it completely screwed up on me, you know, while we're live on another channel. But on my personal channel, it worked fine, apparently, John. So, yeah, my deepest apologies. The reason why we had to keep restarting the stream is because there's a delay, of course, so we make sure nobody's cheating. But it does mean that you have to wait for the stream delay to finish every time you restart the stream, and it caused a hell of an issue. So my deepest apologies. Promise you won't happen again, because now it's fixed. And hopefully we can see a full game 2. But from John and I, we'll be right back, and yeah, sorry about that, guys. Won't be long.
We have some breaking news. The police has finally managed to capture a dangerous fugitive.
Napalm, son! Nothing else in the world smells like that!
Anticyclone has brought major in Russia, causing a lot of sun and high temperature. We advise you to stay hydrated, stock up on popcorn, and visit highly iced areas like VTB Ice Palace. The EPICENTER Excel lads have announced the details about the last event slot. Here's a quick and simple summary we have created to figure it out. Let's take a look at the report. This qualification has no limits. Any team can participate from any region, even from the moon. All games European server. All games best of 1.
Even the final?
All of them. The winner gets the final slot.
This is madness!
No, this is EPICENTER!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of this Best of 3 series between Rock.Y and Vici Gaming. It is Mike LaPhoenix, of course, joined by John X-Fire. John, I know Game 1 was a bit rough. How the hell are you feeling?
I'm still feeling good, Mike. You know, Game 1 was rather surprising. Rock.Y picking up a couple of heroes you don't see too often and running rather interesting lanes, I have to say. But in the end, it does go the way of VG, so Best of 3 right now, 1-0 so far for VG. Good start for them. And they started with picking up a Razor, which is... It's been consistently popular for a time now, Mike, and for good reason. It's just a very stable hero. You can't really go wrong with a Razor.
No, you really can't. It's just one of those heroes, right? You just static link, have a great time. Still all the the opposing enemy's damage. Like, what the hell can they do? They can't last hit, they can't contest the lane. And it's tanky as all hell, by the way, in case you're wondering. When you get to the mid game, generally it's very hard to kill him as well. So it's no real surprise that he's so popular. Of course, the Bane being picked up by Rock.Y. It's, again, not really one of those heroes you don't see you see it a lot, is what I'm trying to say. And there's the Sand King as well from Rock.Y. So Old 11, he won't be able to play that again.
Yeah, and Old 11 was a very big problem in that last game. Not the biggest issue that Rock had to face against, but he was definitely a very disruptive force. So picking up that Sand King for themselves for Rock.Y should be a nice little turnaround. It does open up their draft just a bit as well, as they could run the Sand King off, or that could be their support duo straight off the bat. But the possibilities are there. It's just a bit flexible, although Sand King is usually run as core nowadays. But the possibility for a support Sand King along with a Bane is there, and it's not too bad as well, although VG just ended up picking up that Earth Spirit once again, Mike.
You can't blame them. I mean, Fenrir, he's a fantastic Earth Spirit player, as well as that. I mean, the setups he made, the boulder smashes, I mean, it wasn't too flashy overall, but even in that bot lane, where he was trying to gank the Beastmaster, and he just, dragged them out for another 30 seconds to try to kill him. That's really the reason why this damn hero is so popular, right? Like, you can get these massive stuns, you can roll the hell out, you've got a great silence, and as well as that, you can silence and slow the whole team if you get a beautiful magnetize. It's just one of those heroes that has a great early game, but in the mid game, when the big team fights start happening, it just causes all kind of havoc for the opposing team.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it still opens up a lot for VG. Their lineup doesn't really say too much yet. The Razor is just a very flexible hero. It's pretty much run in all lanes, although off lane is probably the weakest lane for Razor. If you're going to do that, you're probably running an aggro try. But a lot of options are open for VG right now, whereas Rock.Y isn't as surprising. You kind of know what they want to do with Bane and Sand King. In terms of laning, at the very least, Bane will always be support, and Sand King does have a little bit of flexibility in that he could be a roaming 4 or the position 3 on the off lane, but it's not as wide open as VG. I mean, you're never sure where the Razor is going to lane. Could be mid, could be safe, could be off. The Earth Spirit's always going to be running around anyway, and it just opens up quite a bit for VG. And not to mention that the Razor, besides being a very tanky and very good fighting core, if you manage to farm up that Aghanims, which is, it's not too hard for Razor to farm in early Ags. If you do get that Aghanims early on, you can push very fast as well. So that option is there for VG.
We'll see what they do pick up. Rock.Y, this third pickup now, I mean, it's quite important. Like, the thing is, when you're one game behind in a best of 3, the second game always puts you under a lot of pressure. Of course, you did mention in game 1, they did come through the open qualifiers, so they definitely are worthy of being here, but they get matched up against a team like Vici Gaming. It makes it a bit hard. They will go for the Visage again. We talked about how it was a bit of a weird matchup. They put him in the mid lane, which is generally okay, but against Paparazzi, he just continued to harass the Visage. And overall, like, Paparazzi just got he basically free farmed in the mid lane. And we saw that, like, Meteor, he just could not, he didn't get the farm he needed. The levels were quite low in comparison to Paparazzi. And in the team fights, it didn't really mesh together.
Yeah, definitely not. He didn't get as good of a start as he wanted on that Visage as well. So Normally, as a Visage, you want fast levels and fast, cheap items. Like, you want a Solar Crest fast, you want your Aghanim's up and running soon, just so you can apply a lot of pressure on the map. But it just didn't pay off in the last game. Maybe this will be a better Visage game, although if they do run it mid, VG does have enough flexibility in their draft to pick a much better mid matchup against that Visage. I mean, there's not much you can do with a Visage. You can't really dedicate him to the safe lane, as he does need levels and farm, but he doesn't scale insanely well into the late game with all that farm. So you kind of want him in something like the mid lane, where he kind of does okay in a 1v1, and he can get enough farm from a contested lane, 1v1 at the very least. But it's just a very tricky situation picking up the Visage early on. I feel like if you're going to pick a Visage, you probably save it for the 4th or 5th pick, not the 3rd pick. It kind of locks you in very hard. And VG does pick up the Warlock as their 2nd support, which combines all right with the Earth Spirit. A lot of amplification coming out from the Warlock as well. Very long cooldown on that Golem though, but gives them some push potential as well outside of Razor. So fairly stable support to pick up, not too surprising, but also not too flashy.
Well, I don't mind the Night Stalker pick either. The Night Stalker is one of those heroes where it's great early. If you get a good start, you generally escalate quite quickly. There is an Underlord though. Vici Gaming, I mean, I don't mean to change subjects too quickly, but Rock.Y, they've got a very early orientated lineup, whereas Vici Gaming, it seems to mesh a lot better together. Like, you've got the Underlord, Pit of Malice, the Firestorm, even the ulti to get them in and out. You've got the Warlock. He's going to be a big problem ultimately with that Golem. And the, I can't remember what the damn skill name is called.
Upheaval or...
No, the one that
Chains.
links them together.
Yeah, it's Chains. Chains. That's what I call it. I just call it Chains.
Yeah, we'll say that. And Earth Spirit, of course, bit of a headache in the early to mid game. And then you got Razor. Like, ultimately, if you look at the two drafts, John, like Rock.Y, it feels like they're going to struggle a bit in these team fights again.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. They have really good single target control with Bane and the Night Stalker, but they're really depending on Sand King and Visage for AoE control. Now, Visage isn't the most reliable AoE control coming out from Widow's familiar stuns. It's not very reliable. And it doesn't last for too long unless you stagger all 3 stuns in one target. So it's not the best AoE control. So the only real hard AoE control they have is coming out from Sand King. But when you compare that to the Underlord, Warlock, Earth Spirit combination, it's just much more potent from VG. A bit harder to really maximize compared to just landing a 3-man, 3-man Impale, but it's still very potent. Like, the synergy between Underlord and Warlock is very strong, especially if Warlock goes for max Upheaval, something weird like that. You drop your Pit of Malice, start channeling Upheaval. They can't run out. They can't run out in time, like, they're gonna get a second proc on that pit and be controlled longer. Then you have follow-up from the Earth Spirit. You're gonna take damage from Firestorm. You're gonna be chained up, so all that damage is amplified. You have Razor with his Plasma as well, coming out dealing a lot of AoE damage. It synergizes quite nicely. The only issue I have right now with VG is that they don't really have anything that does supreme damage early on, like something that really hurts. Right now, Razor hurts. It just takes him a little bit of static linking to really hurt. So something that really lays the pain on would really tie up VG's draft quite nicely here.
Well, we're going to see what they do choose. I mean, VG, they go for the Lena. Another hero that's, it's been getting a bit more popular over time, and I don't blame it. It is a great hero to have, a lot of spell damage. It can essentially, go into a right-clicking style core if you really want, as we saw in a particular Na'Vi game at some stage. I'm still really worried for Rock.Y right now. Like, I realize they do have one last pickup here. It does feel like VG have got way too much, and they do pick up the Luna. Do you see if this is, like, do you see something that's going to work really well here with that pick? I mean, ultimately, it looks like VG is just going to run all over them, in all honesty, with the draft.
Yeah, the lineup is... Closing out with Luna is not what I expected. Sure, it gives them some much-needed push. Fairly good damage as well, but it doesn't tie up the problems in their draft. all too much. I feel like in the mid lane, Meteor is going to have a pretty good time up against... Well, no, it looks like it will be Paparazzi mid with that Razor, so... If it was up against Lina, I'd be a bit worried for VG, as, you know, Visage is very tanky early on. And up against Lina, that shouldn't be an issue, but... Up against a Razor, I'm not sure how that favors Visage at all. Like, he should be able to get a little bit of damage out, maybe harass a bit with Grave Chill. But he's not going to get a kill in Razor, and Razor's not going to stop farming when you're laning up against a Visage, so I'm not sure how this works out overall for Rock. They do have the potential to do a lot of damage and push. They have fairly decent team fight, really good single target lockdown, just a bit lacking in AoE compared to VG. I mean, VG tied it up with Lina, who has a fairly good stun as well, combined with the Underlord Pit. I mean, they're really... If VG gets the initiation right, they won't be out of that pit for at least two instances of the route, so it's going to be a hard time.
Let's see how they do pull this off. We do, of course, as usual, we want to see game 3s, right? Like, we don't want to see this 2-0 kind of stuff, but ultimately, we'll see what they can do with this style draft. Maybe there's something we're missing. Let's call out the draft and the players. Jintoki, he will be on the Luna. Of course, the Sand King will be played by Polaris. Sarge will be played by Meteor again. Hitagi will be on the Bane this time around. And finally, we do see Io, or Ao, whichever way he prefers to pronounce it, on the Night Stalker. And John, VG, if you could please.
Right, for Vici Gaming, we have Paparazzi on that Razor. The Warlock being played by Lan M. The Earth Spirit being played once again by Fenrir. Lina being played by Ori. And that Underlord is being played by Old 11.
They did go for a quick smoke up. Not sure what 11's up to here. It's a rather interesting position to be in. He doesn't have any wards on him. So he's just going to stick around in the trees. I'm wondering, like, what is he looking for here? He could possibly, I guess... I was going to say maybe he could try and pull a creep wave, but I don't know what he would do it for. I mean... Well, that's a good point. Someone's drawn the line. Is that you drawing the line, John?
Yes, that is me, Mike.
Thank you, John.
It's just you and me in our channel, so yes, that's me. He could be going for an early pull, maybe around that area or this area. Around about here, around about here. So he is going for that, so he's just wanting to get himself a double wave when he's back in lane, which is fairly good for Underlord. You do want your fast level 3, I want to say, is when you're stable in lane, so getting that fast by having yourself get a double wave is pretty nice. And it does make Luna struggle at the last hit. She does have to kind of cop the damage from the creeps or last hit into tower, and Luna does not have great base damage, so it's going to be a rough time for her.
Well, John, it's just like you said, the double wave is on its way. The 11. Gonna have a nice little time. Jintoki gonna struggle a bit. Like you mentioned, like he's not gonna have the easiest time trying to get last hits under the tower. And as well as that, the damage he's gonna cop is a bit too much. And I mean, he's got the 3 tangos, he's got the salve, should be all right. But ultimately, 11 is gonna have a nice little push coming his way. Io is there to try and help out. Level 1 Night Stalker can't really do too much against an Underlord. 11 has really stacked up in terms of regen. But he will be alright for a while. With that stat shield as well. Gets lucky with a bit of block damage. And here comes that creep wave all the way to the tier 1 tower. So not the greatest start for Rock.Y, but a nice little play from VG. We move over to the mid lane as well. Ori. He is up against Meteor and then the Sergeant. I mean... We thought it was going to be Paparazzi in the mid lane. That is not the case. Ori will take over. Ultimately, though, will Meteor really be able to shut out this Lina either?
It's a bit easier for Visage to do work against Lina. At the very least, he won't be zoned out as badly as compared to laning against Razor, as he can cop, as you saw, he can cop a lot of that Dragon Slave damage, mainly because Cloak early on is pretty strong. Gives him enough instances to just cop the damage quite nicely, so you should have an easier time laning here. The problem is, they are also dedicating Hitagi in this lane, which is, I feel, a bit unnecessary. The Visage should have an okay time one-on-one. Like, the Bane could probably be helping the side lanes a bit better, but looks like they really want to give Meteor a good start here.
Well, they don't want a repeat of game 1. And that's absolutely fair enough. Top lane as well, Polaris versus Paparazzi. You mentioned in the draft screen, you can't really stop a Razor from farming, especially in these 1v1 matchups. And that is the case. Like, Paparazzi, top of the last hits board right now. Having a great old time. Looks like Hitagi will actually take your advice and move over to the side lanes a bit. We'll chase down Fenrir, but the Earth Spirit, of course, a very, very hard hero to catch. He will back off successfully. It's very rare as well. In fact, hold on one moment, because Polaris copying a lot of damage, but he will end up backing off. They will actually try to get him with the fatal bonds, but he is already in the fountain. Will be perfectly fine. But what I was going to mention is Old 11. You know, he's beating the Luna in last hits right now, 12 to 10. It's just not very often you see offlaners do this well up against a safe lane 1v1. And in fact, they are going to jump on Old 11. He's a very, very tanky kind of core, and he will make it out before the body block. It was a nice attempt. They couldn't actually get in range to put the sleep on either. But Hitagi will actually stick around. And he will have range now. 11 though, I don't think they can kill him even if they get the sleep off, and they won't even bother. And it does worry me a bit for Rock.Y. Like, 11 is getting way too much in this offlane.
Yeah, he definitely is, and Underlord as a hero isn't too hard to zone out, but if you give him a start like this, he starts to get a bit silly in lane. When he has a level advantage over the safe lane, it's pretty hard. Like, he's just gonna drop Firestorm, clear out wave, get it pushing in, and then, you know, just soak XP, get a few last hits, and just really make lasting hell for Jintoki on this Luna. And he really is having a hard time. You don't want to see your Luna this shut down early on.
11. Just gonna stick around. There's just nothing they can do about him. That seems like the real issue, right? Like, you put him to sleep. Maybe you have the Night Stalker there to help out. But ultimately, it just feels like he's just too tanky to deal with anyway. Unless you maybe have the Eclipse available, but Jintoki is only level 4. So it's going to be a while till they can get that going. Meanwhile, mid lane, they will jump onto Meteor, but they will end up backing off as soon as the TP comes in from the Bane, and now here comes Io. Fenrir will be the target. The Soul Assumption comes in, but not enough damage quite yet. Fenrir, he will end up going down and giving first blood away to Io. Now Hitagi will be the target. In fact, that Fatal Bonds is dealing a lot of damage to Meteor. He will end up being safe. LANM still trying to deal a bit more damage to this Bane and hope for a nice little Fatal Bonds kill, but it won't be the case. And so Rock.Y will end up finding first blood. And a nice one at that as well, because the Night Stalker does need those early kills during the first night.
Yeah, that's definitely a good start to the first night for this Night Stalker. He wasn't getting too much out of the Luna lane. He wasn't getting too much XP as well, so that gives him a nice little boost. And now it looks like the supports are rotating top, trying to contest this Razor, who's had free run on this lane, 2 levels ahead of the Sand King.
Yeah.
And he is getting way too much from this lane, so trying to apply some pressure there. I'm not sure if they can do anything. The lane is a bit too pushed in for that to happen, but looks like they will try. Maybe just drop a couple of wards to make it harder for Razor to do anything too cheeky.
Well, you're not lying about the farm. I mean, he's 41-23. They will go back to that mid lane and try to take down Ori. The slow will start it off. Io is there with the Void. Nice stun comes out before the Void, though. And Ori still running off. I hear an Earth Spirit coming in, but he's nowhere near. Now the Boulder Smash will actually connect onto 3. Ori, the damage is too much. They do take down 1, but they get Luna, or Lena, I should say, in the end. Paparazzi trying to get Io, and he will barely get him. Fenrir now making the chase. Meteor, he will get rolled on. There's just nowhere to go. He is still pretty tanky, but with Paparazzi there, he's just not tanky enough. The Shrine will be there just in time. Hitagi puts Razor to sleep. Now the Boulder Smash will connect onto only 1. The Burrow Strike, I should say. Paparazzi, he will end up dropping. So a nice rotation coming out from Rock.Y. And we do sit at a 3-2. But that was a lot worse than it had to be from Rock.Y. Like, everything looked good for them. But then you had the Earth Spirit, Fenrir, the 3-man Boulder Smash, as well as Paparazzi coming in with the Static Link and that ulti, and it was just so much damage to be really dealt to Rock.Y. And I mean, ultimately, yes, they got Paparazzi in the end, but they lost a lot for it.
Yeah, they definitely lost a lot. They committed a lot of resources for that as well. So a lot of their TPs are on cooldown. If VG decides to do anything cheeky, they won't be able to respond. Because, you know, within the next minute, all those TPs are still refreshing. So it's going to be a hard time. I feel like VG right now need to slow down the pace just a bit. Because it is nighttime and Night Stalker is kind of scary at night. So maybe just pull back a little bit, get a little bit more farm on your Lina, who's been struggling a bit in this mid lane, and kind of try to get E11 to cop a bit more of the attention, which he is now.
Yeah, they will start with the Void, but he does have the raindrops available. Sleep is there, but Paparazzi comes in now. The roll in, Fenry will connect with the Rock. There's the Eclipse. Will it deal enough damage? Paparazzi is quite low, but the Laguna Blade coming out from Ori out of nowhere. And the double kill onto the Luna as well as the Night Stalker. Paparazzi will just salve up, and I mean, they just look so close, but BG, understanding how much damage was going to come out, they really pushed their heroes to the limit in that little team fight, and they'll find themselves a tier 1 now.
Yeah, and it should be a fairly simple T1 to take. I mean, the only 2 TPs are on Luna and Sand King right now, but Sand King doesn't even have Epicenter level just yet. He is 6, just hit level 6. Should have that Epicenter up soon, but not quite yet.
Mid lane, 11 was pushing, but Io is there with Jintoki. Can they find this kill? Almost, the Lucent Beam. Not dealing quite enough damage. It was a max level Lucent Beam, but they weren't willing to chase any further. It's a bit hard. You don't want to really risk the life of your Luna for this. 11, he'll just roll back in now. Io is still around the area, but it almost looks like a bit of a bait coming out from old 11, and it almost was. Lan M, he was in the background waiting. Fenry was within roll range, and nice little decision from Rock.Y not to initiate. Back to Meteor as well. I mean, he's got the Medallion of Courage now. His farm is going, I would say it's a bit better than last time, you know, in terms of timing. They can always go for like a very early Roshan with this Medallion, as well as the Familiars and the Luna with her aura. Question is, will BG allow it though?
Yeah, I mean, the timing's good on the Medallion, definitely. How he itemizes after is really crucial. Does he go for the early Solar Crest? Does he go for some utility in a Force Staff? Does he try to rush his Agnums? Visage is a very open-ended kind of hero, and how you itemize really dictates how you play the rest of the game. He's really dependent on that, and your skill build. He did go for max Gravekeeper, so he's trying to be a bit tankier in the front line, but that means he doesn't do too much damage. He's going to have to focus on using those Familiars to really pump out the DPS, but level 1 Familiars at this point, still level 7 on the Visage compared to Lina, who's a full level ahead and looks to widen that lead. It's not good. You kind of want to be ahead as the Visage. You really want a lot of XP on your side and a modest amount of farm.
You know, John, one thing we haven't really talked about, in terms of drafting, I mean, we did say VG probably had the stronger draft, right? But ultimately, if we're talking late game, it does feel like Rock.Y will have maybe a bit of an advantage. Like, the Luna does scale a lot better than the Razor does.
I feel like
John, top lane. They've gone on to Fenry right now, the double stun, and it's a nice little easy kill. Polaris will pick that one up, and I apologize for interrupting. What were you saying?
I feel like it's not too big of an issue going late game for VG. Granted, they are going up against Luna. At the same time, they are, you know, it's also an issue for Rock.Y because they'd be going late game with a Visage, who's a very mid-game oriented hero. I mean, your Familiars do get scary once you have your Agnums with 4 Familiars, your 3 Familiars, or 3 Familiars. You are pretty scary, but your Familiars can only do so much damage. At a certain point, they're not going to be as scary as they would be. So, and the Sand King as well, once you have BKBs up, he's not too big of an issue. So you kind of want to hit that timing on Rock.Y much more than VG does. I feel like VG's heroes don't scale amazingly well, but in the late game, with the right items, they could deal with Rock.Y easily.
Well, they have found the Warlock bot lane. Lan M, he does have the Golem available. Will he drop it? It looks like he's thinking about it. The Fatal Bonds did come out. He just delays it as much as he can, and he will let it go. Looks like the side of VG will just not interested at all in trying to take that team fight. Even though it did feel like they had the position to do so. Fenrir. We haven't seen too much more of him this game. He's been a bit quiet. But he is waiting around in that mid lane, and it does feel like Rock.Y does want to push with these familiars. As well as the fact that, you know, you've still got that Luna, but she's going to prioritize a bit of farm. She's got that Mask of Manus up now. They just bought it out with that Morbid Mask. Tier 1 will be under siege. But all the heroes from VG are sitting in the trees waiting. Of course, Old 11 will be on those front lines. And again, Rock.Y, they're just not going to take it. Like, they understand they do not want a 5-on-5 team fight. They want to find pickoffs and then find towers. And they will rotate to the top lane, but Ori will disappear from there as well. He'll rotate to his own jungle on the right. And again, like you did just say, like, they need to find a better timing than the side of VG. But it doesn't really feel like it's working out that way. It's a bit too even for Comfort. Like 5-4, not the best of news.
Yeah, definitely not. I feel like if there's a time for Rock.Y to act, it should be now. It is nighttime. They have about 2 minutes left for that period. So they really want to maximize this Night Stalker and try to find some objectives, maybe a few kills while night is up. Although it looks like VG's playing really smart compared to the first night where they just kept throwing bodies. VG's finally slowing down the pace during nighttime, and that's what they really need to do. That's all they need to do up against a Night Stalker, really.
Very clever indeed. The night will be ending soon as well. Looks like Io's still trying to find somebody. They will see them in the mid lane. Lan M almost baiting himself out. 11. They'll know where he is as well. Can they make the jump? There's the Epi coming in from Polaris and the blink in. Where's the burrow? It's only onto Lan M right now. The bottle smash comes out. There's the Pit of Malice as well. Lan M still alive through all this, but they will end up taking him out. But they threw everything for that. Now Polaris, he'll be the target. They'll chase him down. The bottle smash was not there in time. The burrow strike, but now there it is. They traded a Sand King for a Warlock. A lot of ultis went out for that kill as well, and now Meteor will be the target. Paparazzi will get started. He does not have Static Link available right now. But that tier 1 does look juicy for them. They will take it very easily, it looks like. And they're just looking for more kills. Like, they realize the tier 1's already gone. They're just looking to see if anyone else is going to stick around, and they really don't. So, a trade onto Lan M for the Sand King. Not the best of news again, John. And maybe a bit... It felt a bit weird. Like, you had the Epicenter going, you blinked in, you didn't really find the burrow you wanted. And I believe they even Fiend script for that onto Lan M. Like, it was a bit much for that position 5 kill.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, I can understand why you'd want that. You really want to stop Lan M from dropping the rock. If he dropped it in the middle of that fight, it would have turned out much worse for Rock.Y. At the same time, you commit 2 ultimates onto a position 5 Warlock who doesn't even have brown boots yet. I mean, it's just kind of wild you're dumping that much resources into that.
Well, they will find Ori at the top lane, so that's a nice pickup from Jintoki. He did commit the Eclipse for that, but that's fair enough. Now the silence onto Bane. They will rotate around and try to go for this, and VG. Burrow Strike comes in from Polaris. It is onto 2, but it's not enough to save the Bane. Although they will turn this around. Io, the Golem has been dropped onto 3. Where's the damage, though? I hear an Underlord. Where's the Uber? It's completely gone already. Fenrir. He does end up dropping as well. Meanwhile, Io still in a lot of trouble, and he will end up dropping. In fact, that was Jintoki that dropped. Io is backing off successfully. Paparazzi is not going to let this go. They know exactly where he is. 11 misses the Firestorm, but sees the Night Stalker. Silence is there. They might just give up on him. I mean, Night Stalker at night is pretty fast. Although Paparazzi, nice TP back to the shrine. And he will run into the tier 2, but Paparazzi will find that kill. And what looked like it was going to be a great team fight for Rock.Y again seems to go to the way of VG.
Yeah, they definitely managed to turn it around. They dropped Ori fairly early on, but they managed to turn it around, take out the Luna, who's very key to the momentum of our Rock.Y, and once that happened, I think it definitely stopped being worthwhile once they lost their Luna. I mean, you really want your Luna to be far ahead here. It's really what they're depending on to take early objectives and team fights, and when you're dropping this often, it's not a good sign.
On the side of VG, they will take that tier 1 top and back off successfully again. So all tier 1 towers are off the map now. All the side of Rock.Y. The problem with that, of course, for the Radiant side is the map control just disappears. It just allows VG to take any team fight they want, really anywhere they want around the map. 11 gets caught out mid lane. He has been put to sleep, but nobody really wants to initiate on this. There will be a smoke right behind him, so he's trying to bait something out. Have they found the Luna? Yes, they have. The stun is there, and they just melt her. Completely gone, and now Paparazzi going to continue the chase. Polaris is there. Paparazzi not really scared of anyone right now. Who are they going to go for? They find the Sand King. There's the blink back. The silence was not there in time. Polaris still has the Burrow Strike. Will commit it as well, but the Boulder Smash did connect. And now, can they deal the damage? It looks like he is a bit too fast. Although Ori wants to keep going, but there's the sleep onto the Lina. Now the roll in, and this is a very strange team fight. Fenrir with a double Boulder again. Peter Malice, Hitagi will end up dropping. And, I mean, that angle on that rock was pretty darn beautiful.
It really was, and Fenrir is really doing a lot of work. The past 2 games, just the initiation and starts from Fenrir have been pretty damn solid. Like, pretty rock solid, I'd want to say, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate your pun, John.
Ah, thank you.
They will rotate around. VG. Will they go for a quick Roshan now? Looks like they're thinking about it. No, Paparazzi. He will go to that bot lane. Start farming up even more. And he's got those drums. He's going... in fact, he's got the full BKB now in his stash. And he's going for that Hurricane Pike next. I'm a bit surprised. I thought they might try and sneak the Roshan, but... just seems like they're not interested. And I suppose with their lineup, they're not the fastest Roshan takers in the world with these heroes.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Razor does alright in teamfights, but when he's not static linking someone, he has pretty abysmal damage. So it's not a very fast Roche clear. Lina as well, pretty decent, but again, not amazing in clearing out Roche. So probably a smart move for them, especially considering that nighttime was going to be up in a minute, and you know, with everyone back up, looks like Rock.Y wants to make a move.
They do want to make a move, but they've run up towards the jungle. Again, VG, they're sticking together in that mid lane. In fact, no, they're making a rotation now. 11 jumps into the Roche pit and jumps back out. Both teams kind of miss each other. But this will be a wasted smoke attempt from Rock.Y. And now they do actually know where Io is. A silence the stun as well. Now the Firestorm and the Pit of Malice. A very easy kill onto Io. And this tier 2, not going to last very long at this stage. It looks like Rock.Y are trying to make a split push themselves, but they're not even close to that tier 2 yet.
Yeah, it looks like it should be fairly straightforward for VG. I don't think they even mind if they lose the top tower. They're just going to go for the T3 straight up.
Well, they've got a 10-second BKB on Paparazzi. Have not used it quite yet. Meteor will TP in. And they appear to safely back off. The T2 top is under attack, but Paparazzi will just TP up and start farming himself, so they don't lose anything for that little push onto the tier 3. It does really flaunt the strength of this team. But they are very far ahead. 5k net worth to the way of VG. You look at 11 and he's just farmed way too much. Like, he's got that full pipe. He's going for the full assault, I should say Crimson Guard. Like, it's just so much damage reduction coming out from this Underlord. It's like, what the hell do you even do in a team fight anymore?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to kill anyone off once that Crimson Guard's up. The Luna's not going to have an easy time trying to right-click people down, put that guard up, and looks like VG will get a very, very easy Roshan here as Rock.Y is on the exact opposite side of the map.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to come in and defend this. The TPs are on cooldown anyway. There was a ping onto that tier 3 mid tower. Roshan now is gone, and it still does remain. The 10-second BKB is available. Paparazzi just picks himself up a 4-staff as well. He will courier that out. And Rock.Y, I mean, they're going to take that tier 1 bot. Nice little pickup from them. Can they defend this, though? Level 2 Eclipse is available on the Luna. There's a lot of pressure on Jintoki right now. A nice little Burrow Strike from Polaris, but it's only onto old 11. Meteor going to get started, but again, there's just really no damage that the Underlord's taking. And they're going to start on the melee racks. VG just waiting very calmly for them to try and initiate, but it looks like Rock.Y are just going to let this go. They will Burrow Strike again. The Boulder Smash. Now Paparazzi ready to get started, and Undy is pretty much still full HP, now halfway, but the pipe is used. Eclipse comes in now. This might be too much for Old 11, although no, he's still alive through all this. Still walking out. Now the Golden Drop as well. It was onto 3, but they do get the Underlord, although they lost the Luna and their racks, for that matter. So, still not the best trade in the world for Rock.Y. Fenrir. Boulder Smash will connect. The Familiars as well, just going down. In fact, one of them ends up surviving. No, the Plasma Field will get him. And that's just the free racks given to the way of VG. They will leave the range one alone for the time being. It looks like Polaris will try to make some kind of stun happen, but VG always seem to be ready to turn around. I mean, the Golem is still up as well. And I suppose it's a smart choice of Rock.Y not to initiate after the racks is gone. But again, it's just so surgical from VG right now. Like, they're just not overextending. They're just taking everything off the map. And Fenrir has now found IO as well. He's going to have his teammate Ori come in at the bot lane. And this could be just a dead Night Stalker again. The Yules is there. The stun is connected. Boulder Smash, the silence. It's all too much. Laguna Blade, a very easy kill. And the Bloodstone is now up on Ori as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rough for Rock right now. They didn't expend Epicenter there. I don't think there was a good opportunity for Polaris to really start channeling, as they needed him to constantly Burrow Strike and disrupt the movement of VG. But they also need him to deal the damage with Epicenter, which just didn't come out there. That fight actually cost Rock.Y quite a fair bit. That defense cost him quite a fair bit. The Visage had to resummon his familiars because they were split pushing the bot lane, trying to apply pressure to that T3. After he resummoned them, you saw what happened. He basically got fed to Paparazzi, so he's going to be without familiars for about 20 seconds more, which is very big. It slows down his farm, it slows down his lane pressure. And as a Visage, you really don't want to lose your familiars while your resummon is on cooldown.
It's definitely not the optimal thing you want to happen, but he will have them up in just a moment. In fact, now he does. Aghanim Scepter about halfway there. VG not going to make the push any further. Paparazzi does end up going to the top lane to ensure that creep wave does not go towards the tier 3. He does have that full Hurricane Pike now, I believe. In fact, yeah, it's on the courier. He'll bring it out. In fact, is there a team fight going on? Fenrir is there at the bot lane. The smoke is broken, and Fenrir actually playing around with them right now. Old 11 is there as well as Ori on the Lina. They are going to try and take down this Earth Spirit, and they will do so successfully. Now Underlord, he will be held in place. He will use the ulti. The Pit of Malice is there as well. Can they deal the damage? Yes, they can. He'll finally go down, and now Ori's been caught out as well. Polaris going to make the chase. In fact, he will let him go. That was interesting position to say the least. Like, they stuck around at the bot lane, but it was only 3 of them. Lanham wasn't there, as well as Paparazzi. Maybe a bit of overconfidence coming out from VG.
Yeah, it does feel like that. I'm not sure what they hope to achieve in that lane after taking that T2 once their major damage dealer and and their AoE control from Lanham just disappeared. But a bit of a costly mistake. At the very least, they don't lose the Aegis and they don't lose Ori on that Lina. So not a big loss, but still a nice little farm injection for Rock.Y.
They will roll in. Fenrir will not find the Sand King. Was very close.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
Both teams being very patient right now. The Aegis did end up expiring onto Ori, so they will back off, understanding that it's not the optimal time for them to have a go. The Roshan still about 2.5 minutes before we even know when it will respawn. And this should be a relatively quiet period, I believe, John. Like, I mean, there's Aegis is gone. Roshan still a long way to go. We've seen VG. They're very clever in the sense that they never overextend, unless you count that bot engagement we just saw. But Apart from that, they don't tend to overextend. In fact, I was saying it was going to be quiet, but they smoke up immediately. 5v5 it looks like. Rock.Y, are they going to smoke up as well? They're all grouped up here. In fact, no, they're not going to, but they realize all heroes missing. It's time to sit in the base and just relax a bit. VG goes straight past the creep wave. Oh, that familiar caught them out. The passive from the Razor actually ended up connecting the unstable current. And now who have they found? It will be the Sand King, but the Burrow Strike is there. Fatal Bonds will connect. Now the sleep onto the Underlord, Old 11. That's a really, it's going to upset you a bit if you're Paparazzi. That unstable current hits the familiar and essentially ruins the smoke of your team.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the one issue with Razor. Unstable current isn't toggleable, so if you walk inside range, and it's a pretty long range autocast. It's actually kind of ridiculous how long the range is. You're gonna pop a smoke every once in a while.
It sounds rather unstable, John. Well, they are going to fight Old 11. Excuse me for a moment. They will force him out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So the smoke already broken from Rock.Y as well. Both teams not having the best time with smokes at the moment. Gintoki. I mean, he throws the Lucent Beam, but it literally does nothing. Like, Old 11 just doesn't mind at all. Oh, the Epic comes out, but Polaris, he didn't blink in quiet. Now he will onto 2, and it might actually be good. The Fiend's Grip is on the Paparazzi, but the kickback, they can't actually get him. Old 11 will be the target, but he'll just walk out of there, and he's scot-free. The Golem is dropped onto 3 at the moment. Ori, meanwhile, they'll find Io, and he will end up dropping, it looks like. And meanwhile, 11 did end up dropping finally. Paparazzi going to turn around and fight this with the BKB. They're going after Gintoki. Can they get the damage? The Boulder Smash will not end up connecting. Now the roll away as well. And Polaris, Burrow Strike onto 2. And now, well, they deal a fair bit of damage to Paparazzi. The Spirit Vessel as well, ticking him down slowly. Fenry's still trying to back off, and they're diving pretty far for this. Ori will be the target. He tries to save his teammate, and he essentially does. But he gives his own life away for it. And they keep going. Fenry will be the next target. The silence is there. And that was a very, very long team fight. And I mean long as in distance, not time. I mean, they just ran across the whole map trying to find those kills. And Rock.Y, I've got to admit, John, I'm a bit surprised they actually found so much out of that engagement.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a fair bit back from what they've been losing out on, but unfortunately, I don't think this will really translate to too many objectives. Sure, they take the T1 mid, but that's the T1 mid at 30 minutes in, so you were supposed to take that anyway. They won't be able to get too much after, and Visage just lost his familiars again. He does have one left, thanks to that Aghanims, but you know, his resummons off for about a minute. That's a lot of damage disappearing from the Visage. So it's still not the cleanest fight for Rock.Y, but at the very least they managed to get 2 pickoffs and clear out that T1 mid, which they've probably, you know, it's been giving a lot of control to VG. Giving a lot of easy Roche access as well, so taking that out definitely helps them out, and it gives them a nice little opportunity to try to farm back up. The Luna's starting to get a bit scary now, working onto that Butterfly as well, so starting to be a bit of an issue with how far ahead Gintoki is compared to the Razor. The Razor definitely needs to play a little bit of catch up now.
John, why do Rock.Y not, like, they don't seem to like getting BKBs. Gintoki still doesn't have one. I'm looking at this. He's going for a Butterfly, which is perfectly fine. But is that really the correct decision over the BKB? Like, Ori is hitting like his spells are doing a lot of damage.
Well, you know, Mike, some people like playing on the edge. I think it works out well enough for Rock.Y. It's not as pertinent as it was to buy a BKB in Game 1. Game 1, they definitely needed Gintoki to get a BKB over the Lincoln Sphere early on, I feel. Mainly because there wasn't much real single target spells that VG had anyway, besides the Shadow Demon. In this game, though, I feel like you could get away without getting the BKB as a Luna. I mean, once you pop your R, once you pop Eclipse, and your Mask of Madness, you really don't care. And she has enough lifesteal to really just recoup during any time she's silenced. They don't have too hard lockdown. Every time they do use some lockdown, it's usually on other heroes. It's not the Luna getting caught out. So I think she's in the perfect spot to just kind of become a glass cannon.
Oh, LANM, he gets caught out, and here comes Fenrir with a beautiful kick back and the Glimmer Cape. My god. That was absolutely fantastic. Fenrir, showing us why the hero is so damn popular. Now the Roshan will be the target. Polaris ready to go in. The smoke will come out from the side of Rock.Y. But VG appear to be baiting this out. Although there will be a loop around now. Rock.Y, they want to get a massive team fight under their belt. The Eclipse is available. The Familiars, where are the Familiars? They're not, oh, they are there, but it is on cooldown in case they do end up dropping during the team fight. So Epi comes in. Fenrir will be the target. They want to get rid of this, although the Yules is there. Now the Plasma Field comes in. Not enough damage quite yet. 11 will be the target. Apparently now the Golem drops in with the Pit of Malice. Meteor will be the, well, he'll be a target, although Sand King did end up dropping. He will buy back. They're going to try again. Fenrir is the only one that's low on VG right now. And he will jump in with the Boulder Smash. He will go onto the Night Stalker, and Io is going to be the target. Although beautiful Yules again. Although 3-man stun comes out from the side of Rock.Y. Can they deal the damage? The Pit of Malice is there. The Laguna Blade. Meteor. Throwing out those Soul Assumptions. Everyone is still so healthy right now. Ori, he will be KB. Now the Burrow is onto 2. Polaris trying to do what he can. 11 uses the ulti, but it's not enough. LANM will be the next target, and he should just end up dropping, and he will. Ori trying to run, but Polaris will find him in Jintoki. Well, again, John, another very prolonged team fight. In fact, Ori, he will deny himself. Nice little deny from him. A very prolonged team fight, John. But 4 end up dropping from the side of VG. And, you know, at the start of the team fight, you didn't think that was going to happen, right? Like, you thought everything's going well. The Sand King's dropped. He just brought back VG. Knowing them, you would think they'd probably back off and play it safe, because they did have time to back out of that team fight. But instead, they took it. And now they're going to try and go for the Roshan contest. But they're only 3 heroes at the moment. They will find Io, but the double burrow comes in from Polaris. And these buybacks may be wasted. Double Yules comes out. They'll fly together. Polaris trying to back off him. Oh my, Paparazzi left alone. Oh, the Boulder Smash onto 3 again from Fenrir. LANM gonna try and back off, but Paparazzi just got his ass saved. Thanks to Fenrir. Now, Polaris will be the one that tries to back off. Roshan getting solo. The Familiars come in to try and help out. And Paparazzi comes back into all this. Polaris so low. The Magnetize will tick him down. Io trying to help out his Bane right now. Hitagi, they might be able to find Fenrir, but they won't mind. Roshan is still not down through all this. Ori, he's copping too much. He'll have to back off. And now, Luna, still alive. Still trying to find a nice little position to re-engage Paparazzi. He won't mind re-engaging. He's got 227 stolen damage right now. 1 hit would take out Jintoki, but he will not find it. The Familiar saving his life. Itagi cops a hit, but he'll be fine. They're concentrating more on the Familiars right now. And, well, not only that, but of course the Roshan, which is very, very low. Scouting is there. Who is there to try and snipe it? It is only Io. He's not going to be able to do it by himself, although he would. Looked like he was going to run in for it. But the Aegis does eventually get to VG, and apparently the buybacks and Roshan contest was worth it.
Yeah, it definitely was. I feel like it's very pertinent for either side to get Roshan at this point. I mean, it's not looking too good for VG. They've tapered off in farm for their cores. All of their cores are behind Luna right now, which is not a great spot to be at, especially when Luna is this big. You're going to have a rough time trying to deal with her. The Visage is now very tanky. Like, you've seen it happen. When they start in the Visage, the Lina, you know, what tends to happen is Ori blows all his spells, including Laguna Blade, and does very little to no damage to Meteor in that initial part. So it's starting to be hard to deal with the damage dealers of Rock.Y. They still have ways of doing it, though.
I mean, Rock.Y, just coming back from what looked like, it really looked like there was no chance. In my honest opinion, like the draft was too good from VG. You know, everyone was farming way too well on the Dire side, but it's like you mentioned, now the Luna, top of the net worth, and starting to hit very hard, getting very hard to kill. This is going to be very concerning for VG. We'll see what they can do. There has been quite a few overextensions though from the Dire end, so we'll see if they do try and maybe go back to their, you know, much more orthodox style of finding a pick off and backing off and maybe getting a Rax and backing off. And we'll see if Rock.Y is even going to allow that. Mind you, the Aegis is on the side of VG as well as the Cheese, but it feels like Rock.Y are the aggressors right now. That was
Yeah, definitely so.
That was the second Roshan, wasn't it? So no refresher side is available.
Yeah, not quite yet. I feel like when that third Roshan is up, the refresher should go to Lan M or Paparazzi. Like, the power of a double static link on your Razor and two instances of Eye of the Storm is really strong. So once that's up, I feel like it's definitely down to both teams to contest it.
Yeah, I mean, Rock.Y they really can't allow that to be given away. And I'm sure they will not allow it. You know, they'll try and at least contest it. There will be a smoke. Rock.Y. Who are they going to find first? Old 11 again is on the front lines always, and he will break the smoke. Io, he gets Pit of Malice up. Ori, where's the stun? It's not there in time. The Boulder Smash as well misses. The Familiars scouting out who's there, and they'll know the whole team. Polaris, a lot of this is on him to make an amazing Burrow Strike initiation. We'll see if he can find it. Double damage rune is about to wear off on Jintoki. But it doesn't look like they're ready to back off quite yet. In fact, VG are going to start moving forward now. Who's going to initiate on who? Old 11 again, front lines. The roll in. Oh, the Earth Spirit. He does end up finding two. And the three-man Boulder Smash again. Now the stuns come out and they want the Visage gone. And he is. Meanwhile, Paparazzi trying to run away from Jintoki right now. Although Jintoki left alone. There's the Yules. The BKB is completely gone. The Boulder Smash comes in and he's gone. So 2 down for the side of Rock.Y. 1 for the side of VG. Although there will be a buyback from the Visage. But Bane is gone as well. So you've got the Visage back up with the buyback. But it doesn't even feel like VG want to take a fight right now. In fact, no, they are rotating to that top lane. Polaris will begin creep skipping in the mid, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. Like, he's going to be there to defend the top lane right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard defense, especially since Luna doesn't have buyback, which is surprising for me. I figured, I mean, I know that the butterfly is key, but at this point, you'd probably want to save for buyback more. You weren't having too many issues killing them anyway. So it's rather surprising that Luna does not have buyback, and it looks like they will get Mega Creep here.
Ooh, what a quick Yules coming out, and what Burrow Strike coming out onto the side of VG. The Sand King is still in big trouble. He's just getting cycloned up constantly. Can they take him out? He does end up getting 4-staffed. He will be alright for the time being. Meteor gonna try his best to defend. They have 15 seconds left for the Luna, and here comes 11 with the ulti, and they do all get out. Nice little 4-staff play onto Ori to try and get him out of that range, but it was not successful. And so the only thing left is that bot Rax. The tier 3 not even there to defend it anymore, and they will just essentially shrine up. In fact, no, they haven't even used the shrine. They'll just reset and go back in. The Roshan is still a fair while away. We're going to find out in about 2.5 minutes where it is. Looks like bot lane will be the target. They found Meteor again. This is going to be a dieback if he does go down. Fatal Bonds does come out. Now Paparazzi as well as the Yules come out. They need to protect Meteor, but there's just no one around. The Pit of Malice is there. He's just so tanky, but it's not going to be enough. The Laguna Blade was committed. And that is a very unfortunate dieback for Rock.Y. That is exactly what they didn't need right now. And although Luna is available and the Eclipse is coming off cooldown, I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. They will start with the Burrow Strike. Paparazzi will be the target again. The Pit of Malice comes out as well as the Plasma. Familiars keeping Lena stunned into place. Boulder Smash from Fenrir again onto 2. But Rock.Y not really committing to this quite yet. There's the Yules as well. They might go for this. The Epi comes in the background. Double Burrow Strike, but it's not enough quite yet. Paparazzi, he's been Fiend's Grip, and he will go down, but Ori chases for Jintoki, and he will get it. So a 2-for-2 trade. 11 going to try and back off safely, although they may turn this around. The Pit of Malice does go down. They will actually go for Lan M first. Fenrir is still around. Boulder smash. No, the silence was there first. Now the double boulder. Golem is actually dropped. It was held this whole time. The Aeon Disc comes out from Polaris. LANM in a bit of trouble. Now the Burrow Strike. And they will actually manage to take out the position 5 of VG. Fenrir, he'll be the next target. The Pit of Malice is there onto 2. Now the kick out. Hitagi will end up going down. And this is a very strange team fight. The Burrow Strike comes out onto 2 again. 11. Firestorm. Fenrir. The ulti has been committed by 11. And oh my, he actually jumps out of it. Fenrir getting a bit cocky himself. He has no rocks left, John. He can't roll out of this one. Oh my, John, if you're going to do that, for all the Earth Spirit players out there, if you're going to do that, make sure you have at least 1 rock available to roll out of there.
That was pretty interesting to see. I mean, you saw 11 charge up his ultimate, and then you saw Fenrir was in range. Then he decides, no, I'm gonna try to go for more here, which would have been big. I think he could have picked out the Night Stalker if he had a Spirit Vessel. Unfortunately, he only had an Urn. But if he had that Spirit Vessel, I think the damage from that one is big enough to at least take out the Night Stalker. Maybe. But yeah, rather interesting. I think it didn't really matter much in the end if Fenrir died or not. They got what they wanted. They prolonged the fight long enough. And you know, they're mega creeps now. Only 1 T4 standing for Rock.Y, and really pushed up against the wall now for Rock.Y. They definitely, I think for them to turn this around, they need to secure Roach for themselves. Absolutely. They cannot go without contesting that. If they just decide to give it away, I don't see them managing to turn a team fight around at this point.
I mean, the Roshan's going to be a hard target to go for. It looks like they are trying to rush a Divine Rapier on Jintoki right now. So they're saying screw the Aegis. We're going for the Rapier. I mean, it's the only play they can go for, John. They've mega creeped up. So they've got to essentially turtle for a while. They've got to have a way to defend, and I suppose the Luna with the Divine will help quite a lot. And ultimately, you know, to go back from a mega creep push, it feels like you need that crazy pure damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with you. I think it's one very straightforward way for them to take this, and it's definitely all in. It's not like they have a lot to lose now. Their backs are against the wall, so you know the gloves have to come off, and the Rapier is a good response to that. But my one issue is that 11 already has his halberd, so if he can just walk up to the Luna once she has that, once that Rapier's up, if it comes up in time. I'm not sure if it's going to have the impact they want in a team fight. Sure, it's going to help a lot in clearing out these mega creeps, but in a team fight, I'm fairly certain 11 got the halberd already just for Luna. Adding to the fact that Luna's going to go for a Divine, it's really going to do that much more work here.
It is, you know, it is a good point. Like, the halberd is already there, so it's like if 11 just gets it off, what the hell is the point of this? Even then, right, like, he didn't have buyback last team fight. In fact, hold on a minute, the boulder smash from Fenrir. They want to go after Io, but he is out safely. In fact, no, he's not. The roll in, Fenrir, he gets the Yules off. Is there any help that's going to come in? They're walking eventually, but in the backlines, there's a team fight going on, and LANM's gone. No golden drop was there in time. Now the Eclipse was committed as well. The Laguna Blade Io still being essentially kiting them around. He should end up dropping here. Meanwhile, Paparazzi going after Meteor, they did end up getting Io. The boulder smash, it will not connect. The roll in, they will find the Bane. And so Hitagi should end up dropping. And now an ulti out again. Oh, they roll into the Ancient. Huh, okay. That was a bit of a flashy... I mean, that was very unnecessary, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely no need for that port, Mike. I mean, the creeps were already there. VG managed to buy enough time to distract Rock.Y from the mega creeps going into their base, and they forced them in a very weird position. Like, they were chasing Night Stalker for so long, and you thought VG was wasting their time, but they were baiting Rock.Y to chase Fenrir down so that they'd be taken out of the base, and you know, the mega creeps did their work, and VG takes that game. Rather interesting game too. Unfortunately, the series going 2-0 for VG, so rather unfortunate. We could potentially see Rock.Y later on the decider match. I believe that is later on, much later on. But yeah, that's it for now for this series, Mike. Rather interesting, interesting picks. Rock.Y always going back to that Visage. Unfortunately, not paying off.
No, absolutely not. But let's look at the time. Let's make sure we have the time set for the next matchup. I mean, you already mentioned it's quite a while away. Currently, we're waiting for all the viewers watching. We're waiting for eHome versus Team Serenity to see who the winner of that matchup is. And then we will have the winners match between VG and the winner of that. And that will be in 55 minutes from now. So, it is quite a long wait, unfortunately. Because we've got time, John, allow me to once again apologize for the audio issues in the first game. John, at least we got game 2 down, right? At least we had an enjoyable game 2. Thanks for the backup.
Yeah, definitely. You placed me in an awkward spot. I wish I could see what DOTA TV spectators were saying. They must have said this caster's absolutely fumbling because, I have not done play-by-play ever. And forever, it's not my thing. It's your thing, Mike. And
John, when you were doing play-by-play, I could have sworn it was OD Pixel or Toby 1. Honestly.
Fuck.
I could.
Screw off.
Hey, no swearing on the stream.
No
John.
swearing. It's a very polite stream. No swearing. I do apologize.
We've already got one reason to get fired today. Let's not give him another one. Anyway, so yeah, 55 minutes till the next series, unfortunately, but it will be VG up against somebody, either eHome or Team Serenity. We're going to find out very soon, guys, but I'll put the timer on. If you do want to see what's going on between eHome and Team Serenity, I do believe he's on Epicenter EN2, but I will get the link just in case. Of course, it is on the Epicenter Twitter page, John, so if you wanted to know, you should probably give them a follow.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it's on Epicenter _EN2. So if you guys want to watch that until the next match is up, then feel free to do so. I do believe Team Serenity is actually ahead right now in terms of scoreboard. They're 1-0. I think they're in game 2. So let's wait it out, guys. Time is up. Again, it's MLP Dota. It's John X Fire. Consider following us on Twitter. Otherwise, we'll see you back in about 55 minutes from now. See you soon.